All right, we have learned our natural notes. The natural notes are the notes, simply the letters without any sharps or flats. I am now going to teach you how to sharpen a note or flatten a note, but first let's make absolutely sure that you understand what the natural notes are. This is A, this is B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, remember we learned about the days of the week, and after Sunday or after Saturday night comes Sunday again. So it just starts all over. So you've built A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A starts again, B, C, D, E, etc. Okay, so our natural letters are the white keys on the piano. If you're playing another instrument, we'll talk about that later. Deal with that on the guitar. But for now, the natural notes are the white keys on the piano. Now, one other thing to understand is there's a half step between every single note. It doesn't matter whether they're white or they're black. Look at it this way. In other words, this note is a half step from here, which is a half step from here, which is a half step from here, which is a half step from here. And look, these are two white notes together, but they're still half steps too. So no matter what the color is, every single upward movement is equal to 1/2 step. Okay? So we are going to build a major third from our root C. This is the note C, and this is our E. That is a major third. Now we are going to learn how to flatten a note. We're going to take this E here, and flat is to the left of, or we move to the left. We move down. This is down, left is down in tonality, right is up in tonality. Okay, so if we want to sharpen a note, for instance, let's try D. If I want to flatten the note D, well, I'm going to take it and bring it down 1/2 step. That is called D flat. Well, we have a problem, Houston, because this is the note C, and if I sharp a note, I go the opposite of a flattened note, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So let's start over. Let's make this clear as mud. We have D. I am now going to flatten D. I'm going back to D. I am now going to sharpen the note D. Do you see that? This is the single note D. This is D sharp. That's D again. That's D flat. Okay, now here is the dilemma. This note here, if I want to sharp the C, I go to this note. But wait a minute. I just told you that that was D flat, but it's also C sharp. D flat, C sharp are the exact same note. They have different names just depending on, you'll understand that later. So just stick with me here. What you need to understand in this lesson is to sharpen a note, you go up 1/2 step. All right, let me show you something here. There is still only a 1/2 step between the E and the F. So if I want to flatten this E, I'm going to go down a 1/2 step. Down means to the left. 1/2 step. 1/2 step means one key. Pretend this all isn't here and just look at the keyboard in a series of 1/2 steps. So this, just because they are white notes, does not mean that they're any different than any other two notes. The distance between here and here is the same as the distance between here and here. So the fact that they are white really has no effect. Now that you know that all 12 tones are 1/2 steps, E, and then we flat E, There is E flat. There is E natural. And now we're going to sharp the E. E sharp. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That is E sharp, but it is also the note F. Now, if we want to flatten the F, we go down a half step. So this would be F flat. Now, in true life, you're not going to really ever experience an E. Well, it depends on the key and the key signature, things like that. But for now, you have learned how to make a note sharp or flat.